What's up guys, it's Annie and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the 3 videos that I just made about my experience flying from the United States to Taiwan during this whole COVID-19 pandemic. So before I left the States, a lot of people were asking me what kind of protective gear I was planning to wear on the plane. So in this video, I'm going to go into more detail about what I personally saw people wearing, as well as some tips that I picked up along the way. So just a disclaimer, I am not a medical professional nor a health expert. These are just my personal opinions based on what I saw while flying during this pandemic. I'm not saying that if you do these things, you won't get the virus if you do come in contact with someone who's positive. Definitely not a guarantee, but maybe improve your chances of not getting it. So I'm just putting that out there. So things that everyone should already know, obviously, wash your hands as often as possible and don't touch your face. Make sure to continue doing these things and be even more aware while you're traveling. Okay, so nowadays, most if not all airlines do require their passengers to wear a mask. Because if someone does have the virus, whether or not they know it, they may or may not show symptoms, so you never know. Even if you don't feel any symptoms, you might still be a carrier, and you don't want to spread the virus and infect people around you who may possibly end up developing symptoms. Even if you think you're fine, still wear a mask to keep both yourself as well as the people around you safe too. Wouldn't you want people to do the same for you and your friends and family? I saw in the news that there was a passenger who tested positive for the virus, but nobody else on the flight did, and that's because that passenger was wearing a mask. And probably the people who were sitting around him were also wearing a mask, and taking their own precautions to wear protective gear definitely helped as well. So just keep in mind that this is your personal responsibility and do as much as you possibly can. If you do end up catching something on the plane and you didn't do your part to wear protective gear, then you can be upset and blame the person who infected you all you want, but at that point it's too late. You possibly could have limited your risk and exposure had you been more careful and taken the proper measures to wear protective gear. Alright, so let's get into the flight prep itself. So this might not be feasible for longer trips, but if you don't trust your belongings, going through the whole check-in process where they possibly could come in contact with multiple people, starting from the person at the check-in counter, to the person loading the x-ray machine, to the person loading the luggages into the plane, to the person unloading the luggages into the baggage claim, to the other passengers who are at baggage claim waiting for their own luggage hovering over the conveyor belt, then definitely try to limit yourself to just packing a carry-on as well as a personal item. That way you can keep your belongings with you at all times. Okay, so now what to wear. So you want to cover as much skin as possible, which means wearing a long sleeve shirt, long pants, as well as socks and closed-toed shoes. So for the socks specifically, I like to wear longer socks that cover the ankle, just in case of the exposure from the bottom of your pant leg to your shoe. Wearing a longer sock just gives you more clearance and makes me feel better anyways. For your jacket, try to wear a hoodie. That way when you wear your hood, you're also limiting the exposure of your neck, which is at the level of exposure of water droplets when people are talking around you. For more protection, you can also wear a shower cap to contain exposed hair. In my experience, the girls that wore shower caps were able to contain their long hair more easily without having to put it up in a tight bun, so that way they can still lean against the back of their seat and make napping a little bit easier. So for your face, you definitely need eye protection. Goggles are recommended, whether it be lab goggles or your motorcycle glasses or your construction goggles. And you can get those from your local hardware store or of course online. Just as long as the sides are sealed and flush to your face, that way there's no air that can get in. If you are in a crunch or you don't have the resources to get these goggles, then even though they're exposed on the sides, you can still wear your normal glasses or sunglasses, and the bigger the frame, the more coverage. So try to wear a face shield if possible. I personally did not on my flight, but I saw everyone else around me wearing them, and everyone looked more comfortable eating, knowing that they could pull their mask down and still have some coverage while eating. If you don't feel comfortable eating the snacks or meals provided, definitely remember to pack your own. Some airlines even serve their snacks before boarding when you're still at the gate, just to minimize the close contact and the amount of times that the flight attendants have to go up and down the aisles during the flight. So for the flight itself, make sure to bring extra gloves, disposable masks, alcohol wipes, as well as hand sanitizer. And make sure to hand sanitize as often as possible after every time that you come in contact with anyone or anything. For example, when they scan your boarding pass, or when you touch the overhead compartment, or if you really have to go to the bathroom on the plane. Once you board the plane, make sure you disinfect everything immediately. This includes the armrest, the headrest, the tray table, the window if you're at a window seat. By the way, try to sit in a window seat if you can, that way you can limit the amount of people that are around you, and of course leave the middle seat open. Try to avoid the aisle seat if possible, just because it's closer to where more people are moving around and going up and down the aisles. So also make sure to wipe down the air vent above you, and also make sure that the vent is open to ensure proper airflow and circulation to keep the particles in the air moving and not at a standstill, which could possibly infect you if you were to inhale the virus. Honestly, the plane air filters and circulation is probably better than what you have in your office or at home. You definitely shouldn't be scared of the plane itself, but you should be more scared of the other passengers on the plane and what they're doing to protect themselves and you. So try to sit as close to the entrance and exit of the plane if possible. That way you can board last and exit the plane first. That way you spend less time inside the aircraft and in closer contact with other people. So once you get off the plane, try to change your gloves and your mask and your clothes if possible. If not, change out of your clothes immediately upon arriving at your destination, and make sure you wipe down everything from your shoes to your luggage to your bag, backpack, and wash your clothes immediately if possible. So those are all the things that I personally observed when I was flying. Let me know if there's anything else you would add, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Make sure to like and share this video with anyone you know who will be traveling. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!